What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all having a great day. Today I wanted to take some time and do another vlog here about me thinking of selling the Camaro. I go through this every now and again. I get the itch to sell. Had a real big itch last year after the airbags blew unexpectedly. But as we all know, I ended up keeping it and fixing it and modifying it even further. So today I thought we'd just kind of go over my thoughts on the issue and what I might end up replacing the Camaro with, and what my thoughts are behind that. Before we go too much further into the video, if you guys could take a second and please subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers still. But anyways, yeah, the title has probably tipped you off. I'm thinking about selling the Camaro and maybe replacing it with the new Supra. So I thought I'd kind of go over my thought process on why I might choose the Supra. There's maybe a couple other cars I might consider. But first, why would I want to sell the Camaro and potentially downgrade, really, as far as performance goes? The Camaro, while it is a very fast car and it's relatively cheap, is still pretty expensive. At this point in my hobby, I've gotten way more into track days and HPDEs and time attack and that kind of thing than I initially thought I was ever going to do. When I first purchased the car, my intentions were to have a nice weekend car, keep it, pretty stock, maybe do like an exhaust or something, and go to the track every now and again. What ended up happening was I bought the car and I started doing track days really frequently, and the Camaro is pretty expensive when it comes to doing track days. Tires are $1,400 a set. It goes through a set every time I go to COTA. Oil changes, it takes like 11 quarts of 15W50. It's like a couple $100 which you have to change every time you go to the track. Gas, it just destroys gas, which I know nobody buys a Camaro for gas mileage, but on the track it'll go through almost 3/4 of a tank of gas during one session, and it's $50+ to fill up on premium. Just everything about it is expensive to run on the track. The other thing with the Camaro, like I said, at this point in my hobby, I want to try and do some more competition, take it a little more seriously. The Camaro, unfortunately, doesn't really fall into any kind of entry-level competitions. Setting it up for wheel-to-wheel racing would just be insane. I would lose so much money in the value of the car, stripping out the interior, putting all the safety stuff in. Time attack, a lot of the classes are based on tire size, and just straight out of the gate, the Camaro gets put into the more competitive, more experienced classes just because of what it is out of the box, and I'm kind of trying to avoid that. I don't want to downgrade the performance of the Camaro to try and fit into a class. Also, talking about expenses, I don't own the car outright. I do have a lien on it, so my monthly payment is around $800 a month, which, if it was just my weekend car and I wasn't spending thousands of dollars to go to the track and do all these other sorts of things with it, it would be fine. That wouldn't be a problem. But that $800 a month now, I'm thinking, well, that could go towards tires or track time or brakes or whatever, something else more productive. I also, since it has a lien on it, have to keep full coverage insurance on the car, which is close to $200 a month, even though I'm 33 years old with no accidents, no speeding tickets or anything. Yay, insurance companies. Monthly, I'm spending just $1,000 or so just to keep it, just to have it. And that's not even including, going to the track and all the consumables and that kind of stuff. And with the insurance, I'm paying for full coverage insurance because of the lien, but 95% of its time, it's just sitting in my garage doing nothing. And then 4% of the time, it's out on track where insurance won't cover it anyways. And so I'm paying this huge premium for full coverage insurance for the 1% of the time it's driving to and from the track, basically. From a financial standpoint, for what I want to do with the car right now, it just doesn't make any sense to keep it. And kind of the last issue with the Camaro, if you're watching this, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow it. And unfortunately, the Camaro, just nobody cares about the Camaro. people aren't buying them. They constantly get outsold by Mustang and Challenger. If you look on YouTube at car automotive channels, nobody has a Camaro. I think like the biggest Camaro channel is Guitar Mageddon ZL1 or whatever that guy's name is. For being the biggest channel, his channel is really not that big. I mean, he's got like 200 and something thousand subscribers, which is awesome. But if you look at people who have just other platforms, tuner cars, exotics, other muscle cars, you know, you have people in the millions of subscribers regularly. And that's just not something I've seen with the Camaro. Just nobody cares. Go to Time Attack events with the Blue Dragon, and the Blue Dragon's a crazy car. It's got crazy arrow, it's got stickers, it's got a dragon on the side of it, and nobody cares. We won the limited class at Atlanta, and the car didn't even make it into the highlight footage from the guys who do that event, Global Time Attack. There wasn't a second of it in there. You wouldn't even know. And that's crazy to me, considering we won and what the car looks like. But like I said, it's just nobody cares. So just overall, it's not making sense for me to keep the Camaro. I do like the Camaro overall, even though we did have kind of a rough start. And I'll be the first to admit, it is probably the fastest car you can buy for under $100,000. I can't really think of anything else that even really comes close. And the C7 Z06, to get one track capable, you're going to option up into the $100,000 range. But even still, those, you know, have had their problems. Which leads me into considering selling the Camaro and buying a Supra. Right now, the only complaint that is legitimate with the Supra, in my opinion, is that it is called a Supra. I don't think they should have brought the name back. It's too hyped up. It's a legendary name at this point. It's the same thing that happened with the NSX. They let it go too long. They brought it back. They put this crazy name on it that everybody knows and loves, and then it's not that car. Of course, it's not going to be that car. They're not making 90s sports cars anymore. We've moved on. It's 20, 30 years at this point. Same reason why Gabe will never release Half-Life 3. There's just too much hype around it. It doesn't matter what they make, what they build, it'll never live up to the expectation of that name. So that's my only criticism of the Supra. If they call it the Celica or something, I think that would have been a way better choice, but whatever, it's neither here nor there. What they did, though, in calling it the Supra, is they generated all this interest and controversy and buzz around this new car, which I think will translate well into getting views and subscribers on my YouTube channel. So that is a big consideration for me in picking out a new car. Now, the Supra does run into some of the other problems the Camaro has. One, I wouldn't be able to buy it outright, so I would have a loan on it, but it would be significantly less expensive. The Camaro stickered for 72 something thousand. I didn't pay that, but it's about $20,000 more expensive than the base model Supra, which is what I would be looking to get, which is about $50,000. So payments would be significantly cheaper. Gas mileage would be better on the track probably, so it wouldn't have to fill up as much. Because of the rules in the Time Attack, I would be using street tires that would last longer, be less expensive because they're smaller. But I'd still have to keep, you know, insurance and everything on it. So the Supra is more of a gamble. It's me thinking that eventually people will take interest in it in my channel, subscribe, maybe get me monetized, maybe even make me a little money back. Who knows? That would be amazing. In worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, it's too expensive, I can always sell it, right? It's Toyota, it's probably not going to depreciate a crazy amount unlike the Camaro, which depreciates like crazy, and then I can just move on. In a couple years, the ZL1 1LE will probably be worth in the low $40,000 range, and I could probably just get back into one for super cheap and do whatever I want to it. Again, as far as the Supra goes, I've been reading reviews, watching videos, looking at the overall performance of the car, and it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like Toyota is really slow rolling the performance level of this car. There's already been a few dynos out there that show that it's not making 335 horsepower, it's making closer to 400. I think that Toyota kind of underrated it because of BMW. They don't want to step on BMW's toes, which the Z4 is a significantly more expensive car, so there needs to be a reason for that besides that it's just a convertible and says BMW on it when they're essentially the same car. I also saw that they're putting the Michelin Pilot Super Sports on the car, which I think that's just a terrible tire to be on there. I think if you threw like a decent set of wheels and tires on the Supra, like some TE37s, 18-inch, and if you could do like a 285 square setup with RE71s or AO52s, I think the car will surprise a lot of people with just a wheel and tire package. The other nice thing about the Supra is it would fit into the enthusiast class, which is the entry-level class for a Global Time Attack, which we definitely want to do more of those next year. We're probably still going to Button Willow this year, and we're going to try and do, I think, anyways, we're going to try and do the whole circuit next year, all 4 races. So if I had a Supra out there, if I was one of the very first people to start tracking a Supra competitively, I think that would generate a lot of interest, not just from viewers, maybe even vendors who want to test out their products for the Supra. Maybe that would lead to some sponsorships. I don't know. There's just more opportunity, I think, available. It doesn't necessarily mean I'll get it, but I think the Supra increases the chances because, like I said, nobody cares about the Camaro. Probably the biggest drawback of the Supra is that it would be a first model year, which means it's totally unproven, unpredictable. Who knows how or what's going to happen. The B58 has been out in BMWs for a while, but who knows what Toyota's done to it, if they've made any ECU changes. Who knows? It's totally untested, right? So, like I said, the Supra would be a bit of a gamble, but I think there's a potential there for a big payoff. But yeah, those are my primary reasons for considering the Supra over the Camaro. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Is getting a Supra a good old idea, or do you prefer watching the Camaro? Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. And if it's your first time stopping in, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.